don't
Wow.
know.
The biggest, sub diss I think we've had on the podcast.
With
no one
respects
respects this podcast less than me. Don't worry. The more you say it, the more I feel like you're being rowdy on the bus.
How rowdy can you be on a coach to T4 on the beach? It was 6:00 in the morning from Victoria. See those eyebrows? That's an actor.
That was incredible, wasn't it?
That's really impressive.
Welcome to the Off Menu Podcast, cracking the walnut of conversation.
Just a walnut.
It's just a walnut, and there's nothing wrong with simple flavours.
I said, Gamble, my name is James Acaster. Together we own a dream restaurant. Every single week we invite a guest, ask them their favourite ever starter, main course, dessert, side dish and drink, not in that order. And this week, our guest is... Kaya Scodelario!
A wonderful actor, James. Skins, of course, is where many people discovered her talents. The Maze Runner, a huge movie series. And now Kaya is in... she's done other things as well. But now Kaya is in The Gentleman, the Guy Ritchie Netflix TV series. Season 2 is about to start.
Yeah, very excited to talk to Kaya about that. And I don't know what food Kaya likes, so this is going to be all new. I haven't heard Kaya talk about food before.
No?
So this is a new chapter in my life.
Well, that's true of a lot of our guests, I guess.
No.
Okay. The Gentleman Season 2 launches 3rd of September on Netflix. Heard of it?
Boom.
Ta-dum.
Oh yeah, more of a dumb.
Very excited to have Kaya on the pod and have a chat to her about The Gentleman, have a chat to her about food, her dream meal, etc. But of course, if she says a secret ingredient that we have pre-agreed upon, she will be removed from the restaurant, which is going to be dangerous because she hangs out with some crazy characters in The Gentleman.
Yeah. Who might beat us up, I guess.
Ray Winston, Vinnie Jones. Heard of him?
Yeah.
Theo James. Not a hard man, I guess, traditionally.
He's pretty tough.
He could probably,
beat us up.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
But that is not my ranking system for hard men, whether they could beat us up or not. Because then I'd be going around pointing at little babies and being like, that's a hard man.
And this week, the secret ingredient is cod skin.
Cod skin. This is a combination between my idea and your idea.
Yeah. Cod.
Scodelario, cod.
Cod, that was my idea.
Yeah, and skins, because Kaya was in Skins.
Cod skin. We tried to figure out a way of getting maize in there because of the Maze Runner.
And that was Benito's idea.
That was Benito's
he
idea.
He said corn on the cob.
As always, didn't really work.
He said corn on the cob because of the Maze Runner, but I thought he meant corn on the cob because of he thought she was called Kaya Scodelario.
Oh, he thought it was Scodelario.
Yeah. He thought it was Scodelario.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
But you've been practicing Kaya's name because you got to shout it and you're really worried about getting the name wrong.
Yeah, I'm always worried about getting people's names wrong on this podcast. Sometimes it's the first time I've said that name.
Yeah.
I've never said it out loud before.
Yeah.
And I practice them all day. And I have been practicing Kaya's name all day.
Yeah.
So I really hope I get it right.
Scodelario. Really good. Make sure you watch The Gentleman Series 2 and come see me on tour at gamble.co.uk. Fresh Hell. January 2027 it all starts. But now this is the off-menu menu of Kaya Scodelario. Oh, James. Welcome, Kaya, to the Dream Restaurant.
Hello.
Welcome, Kaya Scodelario, to the Dream Restaurant. We've been expecting you for some time.
Yeah, I didn't know this was going to be as shouty. I love it. Let's do it.
I did see it in your eyes there when I said welcome quite loudly.
I like it. I'm awake. Let's go.
Beforehand, Kaya, you did say to us, I haven't listened to this yet.
No.
I just want to react in the moment, and I thought, I'm going to shout.
Okay, good.
I did not shout.
No.
And that was quite loud for me.
Very on.
Yeah, very on.
That's
Yeah. And I'm aware it's quite different from us just having a normal chat before we start recording.
I like it.
Suddenly we're on.
Yeah, we're on.
But we're in now. It's happening.
Okay, I'm going to switch on soon.
Yeah.
My match is kicking in any moment.
Do you like that when you go to a restaurant?
Scodelario all day.
Well done. Perfect.
He's been practicing.
All day I've been saying Scodelario all day.
It's actually been.
I watched a video of you saying it.
It's phonetic. It's you like say
it's just phonetic. Thank God.
Scodelario. It's very easy, but people get scared because there's lots of vowels in there.
Yeah, once you see all the vowels and all the letters lined up, my brain goes, "Don't read that."
Yeah,
you might not have to say it out loud. Yeah,
it's easy. It's fine.
Kaya's a good one though.
Kaya's an easy one,
but it lulls you into a false sense of security.
No, do you think it's easy though? Because I get called Kaya 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Every supply teacher I ever had called me Kaya, and the whole class would laugh.
Yeah.
There's my trauma. Talk about trauma.
Yeah,
let's get
it's that
straight
sort of
into that.
podcast. It's that sort of. It's good that you haven't listened to it because this podcast is mainly about trauma.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Mainly about trauma.
I haven't done therapy for ages. I need this. Let's go.
yeah.
We're perfect. That should be how therapy is, actually.
What?
Two guys.
Podcast.
You should speak to two guys so that you
Two
know
straight white men.
Yeah.
And figure all your problems out.
always.
Yeah.
And then you know, I can't believe you guessed we were straight. It needs to, because then you get two opinions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you always with your one therapist, you're like, I don't know. It may, no, but it could cost you so much more to get another one. I'd rather have a tag team,
Yeah.
and I can say something and watch them disagree. Something
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, my last therapist actually got fired because he was sleeping with his clients. So
Nice.
Wow.
can't trust them all.
Pretty cool.
The one on the skins, you mean?
What?
Well, this therapist does not sound like a gentleman.
No.
But you know what?
Oh.
Oh,
Very exciting. Series 2.
yes.
Season 2 for our American listeners.
I could still call it a series.
Yeah.
I'd say series 2.
I think you got to stay true.
Everyone's calling it G2, and I don't like that because
What?
that reminds me of the security guards. Do you remember that? G4, they were the dodgy security guards.
Yeah, I do remember that. That rings a bell.
Yeah, G2 isn't as good.
But
Series
G2 as in like gentleman too.
Gentleman 2.
Yeah. I quite like that though. Is it on people's like jackets? and
G2.
stuff? Yeah,
It's
yeah.
on like paperwork.
Yeah.
It's not as exciting.
No, it's not as exciting. No.
They're not on set. We're doing G2.
Tell us about G2. Exciting to be back.
I'm really excited to be back. It's a very fun show to shoot. And we didn't know what it was going to be the first year. We had no idea it was going to be such a good success. And to have the privilege to come back to a character that you love and understand and have fun with is always wonderful. It helps that I get on with all the cast and all the creative team. So yeah, I think any opportunity you have to go back on a set that you just know you can get straight back into it. The stories this year are a lot bigger, a lot broader. It's a little bit darker, a little bit more intense, but still the fun silliness that people really enjoyed from the first season. And it shoots here in London most of the time, which is a joy. I've spent a lot of my career filming in the arsehole end of Canada somewhere and never seeing my friends or going to parties and stuff. And now I get to be home, which is lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And we go between shooting in boxing gyms to big, massive, stately manors and everything in between. It's a lot of fun.
If Guy Ritchie was to make another TV series out of one of his films and cast you in it, what would you hope it? What film would you hope it was?
Well, let's not talk about Aladdin.
Hey, I get cast in that. It's the genie. Yes, please.
You'd make an excellent genie.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
You'd
think
make
I would
a
actually.
very, very
a lot
good
of
genie.
practice, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you go blue or no?
Depends what you mean. I'd go blue, I think. Although did people
you
not
should
like?
just do the
People
blue
didn't
hair.
like the blue genie, did
They
they?
didn't.
So
Blue genie, like real life blue guy, to me doesn't make sense.
Would you?
yeah, sure.
Like
It should,
Blue
the
Man
cartoon,
Group. The live action.
great.
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
But
exactly,
it just makes
yeah.
me think of Blue Man Group or
Yeah.
Tobias Funke. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do just blue hair.
blue hair's nice.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Kinda cool.
Like
Like a Just Stop Oil protester.
yeah, I was going to say a Facebook whistleblower, but yes, I think similar vibes. I think he had pink hair, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think an environmentally friendly genie is a really good idea.
a great
So
idea.
like every wish that someone makes, like I can't do that.
Carbon footprint's
Yeah.
too big.
Yeah. Here's the impact on the
I'm
environment.
not flying you to the Maldives.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Yeah,
plant a tree.
Yeah. That's nice.
yeah, it's a good guy.
I think you'd be good at that.
Yeah, so this has
Right.
turned
So not-
into who
not
I'm
Aladdin.
playing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be the genie in the Aladdin series, directed
Yes.
by Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
Disney's Guy
honestly
Ritchie's
can't
Aladdin.
Imagine playing anyone but Susie in the Guy universe. I'm really, really proud of her. I think
She's a badass.
she's one of the few kind of front center female characters that's come out of his universe. And yeah, I go to bat for her. She's my gal.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? Yeah. Did you have a conversation with him about that at all?
So I auditioned like as everyone does, and it was quite a long audition process. And it got to a point where I sort of said, let me just talk to him and explain that I know who this character is. I know what she is, and I can hear her, I can feel her. And as the process kind of got closer towards me getting it, I sort of took a step back and said, I want to talk to the creative team and make sure, because you're only ever sent the first episode for a TV show, and then anything could happen, right? And I know it's the gentleman. I knew that Theo's character was the lead, but I wanted to make sure she wasn't going to just drift into the background. I wanted her to make her mark one way or another. So I had a very frank conversation with the creative team, and they reassured me that, this is something that Guy actively wants to do this time, is to give this character a level of depth and a level of story and a level of progression through the seasons that he hasn't done before. So I was really reassured by that because that's always important to me. I've said it before, but like I've never met a woman that isn't complicated. So I've never wanted to play a non-complicated character. We are messy, we are funny, we are silly, we are smelly, we are gorgeous, all of these things in one. And so if I read a female character that is just one thing, I can't relate to that. I've never met a woman that's just one thing. And I wanted to make sure that Susie had those layers to her. Like she's definitely a heightened character. She doesn't kind of live in our universe maybe. And we kind of see this stoicness to her for a long time. But I wanted to make sure we have the moments where she's vulnerable and she breaks and she's a bit all over the place. And we've definitely done that a lot more with season 2. We may or may not see her fall in love and what that looks like for her, which is quite unique because she's such a boss. And yeah, so I kind of did insist as much as I can on making sure that she would be interesting. And I find her very interesting.
It must be reassuring as well, because when you have that conversation with the team and they say, yep, don't worry, that's definitely going to be the case.
Yeah.
But in the back of your mind on those things, I mean, I'm
You're
always
like, you're full of shit.
I'm thinking, this could be a trick.
Hollywood, baby. They
But
lie.
they came
Full of me.
through.
They did come through. I did insist on it. Not to toot my own horn, but I tried to be very involved with the creative team, with the writers beforehand and say, let's do something fun. Like it's okay if you don't know what, let's figure it out together. So yeah, I went for bat for her the whole way through.
I would have loved to have been in the meeting where you told Guy Ritchie that women can be smelly.
That's probably what got you the job.
Yeah.
I proved
women can
it
be
to him
smelly,
too.
Guy.
I was like,
Instantly.
listen, come over here. Have a
Opens his
whiff.
laptop. She stinks.
Yeah.
Puts it in.
No, don't get focused on that guy.
Yeah.
We never see her with deodorant.
So you must have ideas for where you'd like the character to go already.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't even know yet if that, pairs up with other people's ideas or like where you're going to land on it.
I'm not one of those actors that thinks they're a writer. I fully respect the writing team and I understand there's a process to it. I get a bit annoyed when actors are very protective of their characters because again, I don't want to play a character that I'm completely protective of or that I think is only good. That's not realistic. I like the messy sides of life. I like the edges around people. So I'm not pretending like I plan what she does at all. Don't fire me, writers. I really they kill me off like Joey and Friends in the elevator shaft.
Yeah.
Pretending I've written the script. But no, so I'm, they know me now. So they bring a bit of me into her as well, which is always quite fun. But yeah, they have their job. I have mine.
We're going to get into your dream menu in a minute. Are you much of a foodie?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a bit wanky to say that now, isn't it?
No, not on this podcast.
You don't
We
think
let go
calling
of
yourself
all.
a foodie's become a bit of a...
Yeah, but I just feel like on this podcast we talk about the joy of food. We enjoy it, and
Yeah.
I think foodie is still positive within,
Okay, cool.
within this
This
world.
is a safe place. For
This
the
is a
word
safe
foodie.
place. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
I definitely consider myself a foodie. I grew up, my mum's Brazilian, and I ate proper meals, home cooked every single night. We grew up poor as hell, but she always made food from scratch. And whenever I'd go for sleepovers at the English kids' houses and I'd get like fish fingers and chips at 5 p.m, I'd cry because I'd be so hungry. Because also, for some reason in my house, we didn't eat till 9 every night. But yeah, I adore food. I've never been restrictive with food. Come on, let's go.
Always start with still or sparkling water.
Sparkling. Does that make me sound like a twat?
No, again.
You're very worried about sounding like a twat.
Yeah.
I don't want to come off like a twat. No, I like sparkling. And I discovered it on aeroplanes because I would always want to have a drink on a plane and then was like, listen, you can't do that every time when you're traveling for work. So I was like, all right, instead of a beer, what can I have?
Yeah.
This kind of looks like a beer. Let me try that. And now I absolutely love a sparkling water. No flavours. Don't be putting strawberry in it or what are those new can things? Those ones.
Yeah, the Ben's got. Benito is drinking
Dash.
a can
That's
of
all right.
Dash.
That's actually quite. We have those on set a lot. Those are quite nice.
I mean, they're called Dash because they put so little flavour in them, though.
Yeah, it's
all
just
of
a
these
dash.
things, it's just
Oh,
like,
that makes sense.
I just want to fall.
Just put that
Yeah.
together. I thought it was good.
Ed's so smart. Every
I'm
episode.
the smart one on the pod.
Yeah.
Smart one on the pod.
Yeah.
But yeah, a proper big size bottle of sparkling water at dinner. I don't think, what's the point of the little guy?
Yeah.
That's too small.
Yeah.
So give me a big bottle of sparkling water. And my kids drink it and they call it bubble water, which I think is quite cute.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. So
It's also a better description
It's bubble water, yeah.
than
to be fair.
sparkling water.
it's not sparkling.
Yeah.
We should bring out a brand of sparkling water that comes with a sparkler.
Like a bonfire night kind of thing.
Yeah.
People can drink
No, stop.
in the remembrance of the time. No, it's good. No, listen. Don't shoot
No
this
wrong
idea
answers.
down.
Look, this is good. This is an open forum. It's
Okay.
a safe space. Any business ideas you've got, you bring
Okay.
you bring them out. Okay.
Just got to taste what it's like to be one of your writers on The Gentleman. Coming to Netflix soon, series 2. No, you were right to shoot that idea down.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
I took it in a pretty bad direction.
Do you know what? I'm also completely fine with tap water, though. I think London tap water is quite nice. I'm happy with that.
So do
Sure.
I. There's a lot.
London
yeah,
tap
but there's
water.
a lot of chat about tap water's better in other places. But there's nothing. There's nothing wrong
No,
with
I
London
don't
tap
mind
He
water.
grew
London
up
tap
here.
water.
Do you grow up in
I'm a
London?
Londoner.
Yeah, see, that's why you both like London tap water.
Yeah.
Absolutely gross.
What's gross about it?
You may as well drink out the toilet, mate.
Where are you from?
Kettering, Northamptonshire. And even that.
What is that? That's a posh.
Listen,
posh place.
here we go. No,
What
it's
is
not a posh place. London is a lot posher
I'm
than
gonna have to be
Kettering.
on James's side. now.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's not a posh place.
Oh, okay. It
Yeah,
sounds quite posh.
No, it's a small market town.
Okay. So you say
it-
market town. That sounds fancy to me.
Yeah, I'm trying to speak your language so that you understand what it is. Yeah, it's just in the Midlands. Just
Okay, Midlands.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
That's where it is.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
In the middle bit.
Yeah.
That bit.
Nice
What part of-
water.
Yeah, then
Nice
the middle
water.
bit. It's
Because-
nicer water than here, but it's not as nice as up north.
Is that because of the Peak District? Is that in the Midlands?
We're not near the Peak District,
Oh.
no. But I'd say like the best water is is around that area or
I did go to Lake District once and had tap water there in the caravan, and it was amazing.
exceptional.
It was exceptional. We've got a litre bottle of Evian, chucked it out, filled it up with the tap water, and took it back to London.
That's good stuff. You see,
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a nice thing to do. Take
Yeah.
it home, and
It was really good water.
You don't even need to drink it. You can just have it on display.
This is
Show
Lake
your friends.
District water.
Yeah, look, you can see through it.
The
There's,
Londoners come
Yeah.
taste the
Yeah.
outside world.
there's no bits floating in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the tap.
There are bits in your water?
Huh?
There are
It
bits in
sounds
your
like a
water.
plumbing
London
issue.
water. London water.
Yeah.
Sometimes is like I saw an American comic talk about how it's just like pouring a snow globe into your glass.
Oh,
That's what they said.
thanks for that. Ruined it for me.
I don't know.
now.
There's no bits in my water.
You can't taste it because you're from London.
Oh.
You can't even see it
I
anymore.
can't see the bits.
Yeah. No. It's not. I'm sure you got good water, man. Poppadoms or bread? Poppadoms or bread? Kaya Scodelario. Poppadoms or bread?
Bread. Any bread. All bread. Lots of bread. Particularly Brazilian cheese ball bread. Pão de queijo.
What kind of bread?
Oh, it's called pão de queijo.
Yeah.
It's cheesy balls. Cheesy bread balls.
Yeah.
You can have them for breakfast, traditionally, but you can have them anytime. I've woken up in the middle of the night hungry, stuck some in the air fryer and eaten them.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
That-
Bread, 100% bread.
First time I had that bread, it absolutely blew
You had
my
it.
mind.
It's beautiful,
As
right?
as a bread fan, sure, but
Yeah.
a cheese fan first.
I mean, two
You're
worlds
like,
colliding.
Oh, bread. Oh, a bit of bread. Tear it open, full of fucking cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smell
nice.
wafts up.
Bananas
Oh,
good.
gorgeous.
It's so good.
That sounds very nice. How many balls you having?
I will stick a good 12 in the air fryer and
You can
nibble
pack
on
12
them
in
for-
there?
I can't, not in one go. Not an animal.
No, but I'm saying like it's
I mean,
more
maybe.
the capacity of an air fryer that is.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by.
Yeah. How big are the rolls? They're like,
We're not calling it a roll.
all right,
We're calling it a ball.
a ball.
It's a ball.
How big? But I don't want to get
You do. You want to say how big are the
how
balls?
big. I do want to say how big
Go
are
on
the
then.
balls. How big are the balls?
Massive.
Ma-
No, they're like a medium, a good healthy sized ball.
yeah, yeah.
Not too big.
Not like go.
No one
doctors.
likes a big
yeah,
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too. No,
So they're going in the air fryer. How big's the air fryer you've got?
one of those. It was Costco one, not the fancy Ninja one.
Right.
Didn't get that. It was my Christmas present from my ex-husband, which is
Merry Christmas.
sweet.
Yeah.
And it's got two little drawers. You get a few in there, but you don't want to overcrowd them because as they cook, they'll melt into each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not good because
Yeah.
you want it crispy on the outside.
That bread choice is
Yes.
delicious. Yeah. I don't think anyone's picked that before.
Oh, I think that is the first time.
Yes.
It's very nice.
She's unique.
Oh, Ben.
Oh.
Two people have picked
Oh,
it.
why did you
Who?
ruin that for me?
Let's hear who they are,
Who?
though.
Are
No,
they
but Kaya,
Brazilian?
you can decide if you want to share these with these people or not.
Okay, who?
Nisha Katona and David Cross.
accept.
Neither of whom are Brazilian.
But second shout out for David Cross in one episode. We had the Tobias reference earlier.
Oh yeah, we did.
Cross making it in again.
Yeah. Which is mad, considering he didn't even remember you when you went on his podcast.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
that's
bad.
sad.
He'd
Yeah.
come on and done this. I went on his podcast, and at one point, halfway
Did
through,
you say nice to meet you when he first saw you?
no, he refused to talk to me when he first saw me because he wanted to save it for the podcast. So that was
Interesting.
made it worse. Because if he
Yeah.
had said to me, "Nice to meet you," I could have said off mic,
Yeah.
"Oh, we've already met."
Yeah, and that would have been awkward.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't do that,
Yeah.
because it was on the podcast and it's been out in the public art.
public,
You have to be like, no, we haven't met. But he didn't do that. So he said, no, I won't talk to you until we record.
Okay.
My girlfriend was with me at the time. I was like, she'd come with me because she's a big fan of him.
Cute.
And I was like, well, would you like to say hi to my girlfriend? He went, hi, without looking at her.
Oh, dear.
So
this is not good.
I had to be like, okay, I'll see you later. And she went about New York on her own.
Aww.
And then I sat down with him. And then halfway through the podcast, he went, so this is the first time we've met. And I went, no. No, I'm sorry to bring it up, but you have done our podcast, and people
Good for you. See, I'm
people
such a
will be
people
listening
pleaser.
to-
I wouldn't have said anything. I would have gone along with it.
But I
People
think I
would
would have done,
yeah,
who
but
would
then
know.
people would have been like, they have met before.
It would have been so much more embarrassing when
You would
people
have looked like
listen
such
to
a
it.
cuck.
I would look like a cuck. I can't get cucked by Cross. So I said we've met, and he did say sorry, kind of.
Did he claw it back? Was he?
He doesn't really care about clawing it. I don't think David Cross will mind me saying this, but he's not a polite man,
Right.
or like a considerate man. So
Sure, he won't mind you saying this?
yes,
Okay.
he does not try and come across that way on his podcast. So he didn't really. He did say sorry, but he wasn't really
Yeah.
Right.
But
he wasn't.
great taste in bread.
bothered.
It's good.
Such
Thank
good
God
taste
for
in
that.
bread, this
Yeah.
guy.
Your dream starter.
I'm not a massive starter person.
Yeah, good on you. You can skip it if you want. We can have more stuff later on.
No. Please don't skip it, guys.
Don't skip it. Oh, do you know, this is really basic. I love a good, by good I mean bad, prawn cocktail.
That's
Do you know
that's
what I mean?
allowed. That's totally
Like
allowed.
a bad, not bad, like a proper Weatherspoons prawn
Like
cocktail.
70s, like prawn cocktail.
70s,
Tiny little frozen
Tiny
prawns.
little frozen chewy prawns.
Yeah, yeah.
I once had like a bougie prawn cocktail in New York at the Polo Club. Side note, Kim Kardashian was there that night.
Hey.
Saw her in real life.
Yeah, that's-
Ticked it off the list. Like
Yeah.
seeing the big five, innit? You've got to see them all
Yeah.
in real life.
Who's on? Hang on. Who are the rest of the big
The family.
five? The whole family.
The family. It's
Oh, it's
like
the
a
whole-
game.
the
You've got to try
Kardashians.
and see them all in real life.
So hang on, but surely Kim's like the
Kim's
top
up there.
one. Tim's the
I think Chris Momager is
Right.
the number
Yeah,
one
yeah,
that you want
yeah.
to see in real life.
Yeah.
The lioness.
The lioness.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kim was there.
Yeah.
And it was at the Ralph Lauren Polo Club, bougie, very nice. And the prawn, I said, oh, there's a prawn cocktail. Brilliant. I'm going to order a prawn cocktail. Look at me. I'm in New York having a prawn cocktail with Kim Kardashian. Yeah. It comes out and it's the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. You know how in America, like the onions are bigger, the chicken breasts are bigger because they're pumping them full of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to get cancelled by America because I want to visa one day.
That is true.
But it's
they've
true.
got different regulations.
Everything's
You do well to get cancelled by America in this day and age.
Yeah, it's true. I'm actually, in 4 years' time, I'd like to go back.
Yeah.
Say that you think there's something in the chicken breast.
Yeah.
Like, that's it, you're done.
Breast. There's 100% something going on with the chicken breast. But it was these giant prawns that were like coming out of the side of the glass. It was in this obnoxiously large thing and there was full ice cubes in it and lettuce leaves. And I was like, this is not.
Full ice cubes in the
this
prawn
is
cocktail.
not what I wanted.
I've not heard of that before.
Well, they
It's
just
like a
keep the
seafood tower version of a prawn
I got you.
cocktail.
And when they say prawn cocktail, the cocktail sauce is like tomatoey horseradish thing, right?
Yeah. Everything was wrong about it.
Yeah.
Everything was wrong about it. So yeah, I want a standard 80s
Yeah.
proper English.
Shredded iceberg lettuce.
Shredded. They've made the sauce with the mayonnaise and the ketchup minutes before.
Yeah.
They've just stirred it in and they've stuck it on there.
There is something, I don't know whether it's like a British instinct where we quite enjoy things to be slightly substandard.
A little bit shit.
Even though we've
100%.
tasted all the best versions of
Because we
things.
have shit food. Like, let's be honest. We are not a culinary country.
I'm not going to accept that.
No, we have nice restaurants,
Yeah.
but they're from other places. They're other cuisines.
That's true.
Look, don't knock a Sunday roast, don't knock a fry up. But that's hardly kind of chemistry, is it? It's hardly like breaking any boundaries.
It depends how you do a fry up.
Go on. I don't know what you're looking
Do you
at me
not
like.
fry it?
My fry ups. My fry ups. No, you are right. I just don't like saying it. But quality of ingredients in the UK is absolutely
But
amazing.
listen, I'm saying I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think that we like something a little bit, not shit, something that feels like home cooking, something that feels like something we can all enjoy and understand. I love nothing more than taking my friends to a really fancy event and seeing their faces when foam comes out. It is one of my favourite sports because they look appalled. They don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
They're like, this isn't food. I'm hungry. What's happened? Why am I eating foam right now?
Yeah.
And I agree with them completely. So I do appreciate our kind of staple dishes in this country. And I think there is something very special about that.
And the prawn cocktail is one of the kings of that.
One of the
those
kings of
staple
the staple
dishes.
dishes.
What do you reckon Kim Kardashian's reaction would be to a 1970s British prawn cocktail?
I mean, I think she'd say something like, "This is iconic." I think she'd genuinely find it iconic.
But with a really
I
completely
rate her for that.
blank face
Yeah.
saying it's iconic.
She'd be feeling it, but
Yeah.
you can't tell she's
can't
feeling
tell.
it.
No,
That's
no.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to star in something with Kim Kardashian?
She acts now.
She does act
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Lots of people act now.
Yeah.
Lots of people do the acting now. don't
Wow.
they?
What the biggest sub diss I think we've had on the podcast.
No, it's true. Lots of people have a go. That's nice.
Lots of people do.
I'm glad I didn't send in that tape for the Gentleman series too.
Hey, you could play that guy's brother or something.
You could know. I see you as like the posh nephew that comes. You've got quite a baby face.
Yeah, and it's normally the posh ones I get sent.
Yeah.
I'll dig out what I was sent later. I'll tell
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Give you some notes.
Yeah. Thank you. Give you some notes on the tape I didn't do because I was like, that's a waste of time. I'm not going to get it.
You didn't do it.
No,
Would you like to do acting?
I've done a little bit of stuff in the past, but to be honest, I find the rigmarole of filming tapes and then not hearing anything back too damaging.
Yes, it's very distressing.
So I don't, I've got
yeah.
other stuff going on.
Yeah, you
so I was
got
like,
other
I'm
stuff. You're
not
good.
putting myself through that.
No, we're gonna start a sparkling water sparkles
with
company.
the illegal
We're good.
sparkling company.
Yeah.
James does acting.
Not really. Same as
Just
Ed, really.
being.
Yes,
You
just
do
being.
being.
Yeah,
That's
just
nice.
being. Yeah. No, I've tried to do it. I enjoy it a lot.
He's been in films, Kaya.
I just don't.
He's trying to hide his light under a bushel.
I'm just acting like I haven't done it.
See those eyebrows? That's an actor.
That was
That's
incredible, wasn't it?
100%. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian can't do that.
No.
Doesn't move. Yeah.
No, yeah. Your dream main course?
Dream main course. Okay, I was between a really good Sunday roast, but I feel like that's definitely been said before, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Still.
But it's
So-
still up to you.
Do you want to hear this before
Go
you
on,
say it?
Go on.
Prawn cocktail is the most chosen starter we have on the podcast.
Well, that gives me comfort.
So maybe
Because I said I'm not a starter
you
person.
can have Sunday roast.
No. I think I'm going to go for a rodízio, which is traditional Brazilian Sunday dinner, where you have a buffet. See, I want lots of options here. I've thought about this.
Yeah, this is good.
I want it to be broad. So you go in. Have you ever been to a rodízio? There's a
No.
few in London. And so you go in, there's a buffet where you get your rice, your feijão, which is our traditional beans, salad bar, and kind of all the salty street snacks, the cheese bread, coxinha, which is another Brazilian dish, all these kind of little bits. And then they come round with meat on a sword and they cut it at the table and you sit there for 3 hours, slowly comatosing yourself, trying every piece of salty meat they bring you. And it's my idea of heaven.
I have been to those. I just didn't know
good,
the
right?
name of it.
Yeah.
What's it? Fogo de chão?
Fogo de Chao. That's one in the
Close.
States. That's a chain
Fogo
one.
de chão.
Is that
Ooh, I've been saying it wrong the whole time.
Chão. It's that
Chão.
ong sound, which is very unique in Brazilian Portuguese, AO.
Well, Fogo.
But you say it how
I've
you
been to
want,
I've been to that
No.
place.
You've been
no,
there.
I want to get it right.
you will want to get it right?
Yeah, the
Fogo
one in
de
LA
chão.
is... Are you talking about the one in LA?
No, Philadelphia actually.
Philly?
I went to the LA one with Aaron
LA
Chen. Shout out Chenny.
Nice. That one's a bit bouge. The best place for Brazilian food in LA is in the... What's the market called? The Grange? The Grove.
The Grove.
Oh, yeah.
Grove. There's a stall, a tiny little Brazilian stall, market stall, that does Brazilian food. Best Brazilian food in America.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know
Very
what
good.
it's called, the stall?
Brazilian stall
Yeah, yeah.
at the Grove.
At the Grove. And to think when I went to the Grove, I had Danny Trejo's tacos.
Oh, how was that?
Well, it was nice tacos, but his face is on everything, which made me laugh.
The best tacos made by Danny Trejo in America.
That is such a good choice.
Yeah.
I absolutely love those places.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, just the sitting
Did
there.
you eat
and
the chicken hearts?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good, right?
I'll eat all of that. Anything
Yeah.
that comes around on the skewers going straight on the plate.
It's a really good place to take a guy on a date because they get really impressed by it. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, meat. Wow,
Yeah.
having a lovely time. Lots of meat. Hooray. Goes down well.
Yeah.
I've been to one in Brazil as well, actually.
Sick.
In
Nice.
Salvador.
I know
And
you've been to Brazil.
that's the first time that's the first time I'd been to one of those places and went with my family, and they kept bringing meat to my sister, and me and my dad were like, this waiter's trying to chat you up. He only brings you stuff. And then we realised it was the red or green drinks
Yes, you
coaster
have to turn
system.
the coaster
we all
over.
had all ours on red and hers was
rookie
on green.
move.
Yeah, rookie
Typical
move. Yeah.
gringo. Yeah.
Like they
That's what I said. Typical gringo.
ignored me and Chenny when we were doing that. They kept on just bringing it. We were putting the red up like, we have so
They're
much
like, no,
meat
you're
now.
not done. You need
They
more.
kept on coming over, scraping it
Yeah.
on our plate.
Scraping it.
They were like, yeah.
You
like,
get very offended if you don't finish your food. It's one of those cultures where they'll be like, "Was something wrong with it?
Yeah.
You didn't like it?" You're like, "No, sorry, I just can't physically eat anymore."
Yeah.
They're like, "But why?"
Especially like the salad bar is so amazing.
Yeah, but don't fuck with the salad bar.
What?
This
Because you
is the
fill
number
yourself
one
up
thing I
too
say
much,
when I
yeah.
take people.
Yeah.
Don't even look at the salad bar.
Yeah.
Get you a little bit of rice, a little bit of beans, and then do the meat.
Yeah.
Because that is the trick. You fill up on the salad bar, they don't have to give you as much.
The one I went to at Fogger de Schwing, it had a whole like parmesan,
Yeah.
and like you cut chunks
Wow.
off it.
Yeah.
So I've done like
You've done it proper.
half a kilo of
I'm very
parmesan
proud
before
of you. Well
before
done.
I even get to the meat at Fogger de Schwing.
What are your favourite meats to get at things
on.
like this?
Rodízio. Go on, you can say it.
I don't think so.
He's been practicing
I've been practicing your
Scodelario for the last 3
goddamn
hours.
name all day. I can't take on another word.
Okay, fair enough. You're doing well. So I like the baby back ribs.
Mm-hmm.
And then something called flautinha, which is another cut of meat. And the premium, the number one, is the picanha, which is the one that kind of looks like swirls.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's just made with coarse salt and stuck on fire, nothing else. And it is delicious. Melts in your mouth, juicy. Do like the chicken hearts as well. But when you see a load of chicken hearts on the skewer and you realise how many chickens,
Yeah,
it does put you off a little bit. I do
Does that-
feel a bit of guilt in that moment.
there's not many things where it's one per chicken.
Exactly.
Right.
And that is one.
Yeah,
So there's about,
that's one per
yeah,
chicken.
it's quite,
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Did they know each other, all those chickens?
were they cousins?
Were they in love?
At least they're still together in some way.
Yeah, on the
Their
skewer
hearts
for
are
a
still
little
together.
Yeah.
Hearts together forever.
Hearts together.
Yeah.
bit. That's
We keep landing on downers during this, don't we? Sorry.
made me feel quite sad.
No, but that is mind blowing that it's one per chicken as well. It feels like they should have more.
Well,
Doesn't
chickens
it?
should have more than one
We've got
heart.
two of everything else.
What, have they?
Wings,
Feet.
feet, thighs, legs,
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Eyes,
breasts.
breasts. They've got one beak.
Yeah, but they're not bringing
No,
around
we're
a
not gonna eat the beak.
skewer of beaks, are
Yeah.
they?
Oh, sorry. I usually mean the bit that you eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so people not eat the beak?
That'd be a nice snack, maybe like a fried
Like a
beak.
crunchy
when you-
thing at the
yeah,
end.
Yeah.
Use all the animal.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah. Little some crunchy beaks.
Maybe I'll start that up. Crunchy beak business.
Yeah, like bags of beaks.
Bag of beaks.
Bags of beaks.
Bag of
That's
beaks.
good.
Bag of Brazilian beaks.
Triple B's.
Yeah. Or is beak like a Guy Ritchie thing for like cocaine though?
Yeah, he would say that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Bag of beak. Well, we can get him
Bag of
involved.
You gotta stop
Get him a bag of
Yeah.
beak too.
You got to
That's,
stop hanging out with him. I think he's a bad influence. And I don't think you should hang out with Guy Ritchie anymore.
Oh.
I think
Guy Ritchie, Ray Winston's in this as well. And Vinnie
Here's my
Jones.
dad.
Ray
Vinny.
Winston's been on this podcast.
Has he?
Yeah.
Love
yeah,
Ray.
yeah.
I
Loves
love him.
Italy.
He does love Italy. Lives
Yeah.
in Sicily. He's got a
Yeah,
place there.
Absolutely loves it.
He actually brought me back a bottle of olive oil that was olive oil from his olive oil farm. And I've got it in my kitchen and I've put in Sharpie, Ray Winston's olive oil, don't fucking touch.
In
So
case
that no
people
one's
come
allowed
round,
to use
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Plug it.
Going to keep it there.
Can imagine that being the name of it if he tries
That's what
to
I
sell
thought.
it as
It's
well.
kind of
yeah.
a nod to him as
Yeah.
well.
Would be called that. Is there an actor who you've not worked with yet who would like to put it out into the universe now that you would like to work with on the podcast?
I get excited about young actors, like new people that
What?
no one knows. Yeah, man.
They're
I think it's
losers.
so
They're nobodies.
cool. No.
They're
No,
nobodies.
they're full of dreams. They're not jaded yet. They still think it's all going to be great. And I think that's magical to be around.
So you like to destroy that?
Just 5 minutes with
Yeah,
me and they're
yeah.
like, wow, maybe I don't want to do this for 20 years.
Yeah.
She's not well.
You like crushing dreams?
Crushing
Yeah.
dreams. No, who'd I like to work with? I've always said Arnold Schwarzenegger, but that's because he was just like a personal childhood hero. And I don't actually want to meet him in case he turns out to be a twat.
Sure.
Because you never know, right?
You never know.
So many people are actually, do you know what? I will say, most people aren't twats. Most people are just a bit boring. And
Oh
I
no,
think
there's loads of twats, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few twats.
There are,
Wow.
yeah.
So many.
Do you think I'm a twat?
No.
Okay.
I just met
thanks.
you.
I'm glad.
We're just on the podcast together.
I'll
aren't
ask
it?
you again at the end.
I could never, ever just draw judgment. Actually, some people burn the podcast.
No, you can
are absolute
immediately.
twats.
Yeah. Can you tell within like 5 minutes?
Yeah,
Can you
for
tell
sure.
if
No,
it's
not
gonna be
within 5
awkward?
minutes.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, that's
Normally, when people show up, we can tell it's going to be awkward.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want to say, I just don't bother. Just go home. We'll do an advert for your thing or something. But
Yeah, we'll just say it at the front.
your dream side dish.
Dream side. What are we calling a side dish?
whatever you want, actually, because people have hacked this before. So you can just have whatever you like.
I mean, you've got the
call it
whole
a side
salad bar.
dish.
You've got the whole salad bar at your disposal anyway.
I'm not a salad person.
No, but you like it.
Are you not
Salad,
listening?
I've never enjoyed salad.
Listen
But it's
to
there.
listen
It's
to our
there, you
guests.
know.
Listen to our guests.
Yeah, but there's other things on that salad bar. You can get a whole parmesan on there.
Yeah.
You just want
Cheese. Cheese isn't a side dish though, isn't it? Isn't that
That's
more
a way of
traditionally
life.
a dessert?
that. Halloumi.
Bit of halloumi. Oh,
Feta.
oh, bit of grilled halloumi. That's not bad.
Those are good
That's a
sides.
good one.
So are you not salad or not veggies at all?
I like veggies.
Yeah.
I don't like salad. I don't like cold food.
Okay.
That's a thing. Soup, I've never understood as a concept.
Go on.
It's not food.
Say more about that.
Chew it.
Okay.
It really annoys me when someone's like, "Oh, I've got soup for dinner." I'm like, no, you don't. You've got a drink. That's not dinner.
I do agree with that. Like when people have their little soup for lunch. And you're like,
That's so sad.
Why do you hate yourself?
I feel sad for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, someone needs to love you and give you a real meal.
Yeah.
I'm a very big feeder though. That's my, this is wanky to say. That's my love language.
Yeah, that is wanky.
Yeah, that is wanky.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm a feeder. I love cooking
What's
for
your
people.
love language, Ed?
Good question. I like cooking for people as well. What's yours?
That's a good question. I guess just
He has no love language.
Yeah. We've suddenly made him realise something about himself. You've got to start showing your partner love, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What do
guess
you
that
do?
is-
What do you do?
just love, I guess.
Yeah, but what is the love language? That's
Yeah, just show her love.
yeah, but
No,
in what way?
no. In what
Love her so much.
Just say I love you, I love you, I love you over
Yeah.
and over again.
Well, that's words of affirmation, right? Is that count as
Yeah.
love language?
Yeah.
Saying I love
don't
you?
see him doing that either. No.
No, he go, I love you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you kicked your girlfriend out of a podcast and made her go walk around New York on her
Yeah,
own.
that's how I
not very
interpreted that
loving.
story as well.
Me
kick her
too.
out.
I interpreted it as
Yeah.
I don't want you here. You're making
Yeah.
it awkward.
I'm hanging out with David
I didn't
Cross.
say that. She said to me, I'm going to go.
Because you didn't make her feel comfortable. And that
Yeah,
was her
yeah.
giving you the opportunity to fix it and you didn't.
Gifts?
Yeah.
You
I heard
just
she
go,
spent
Smelly.
loads
She's one of the
of money.
smelly women.
Women can be smelly, Kaya.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is smelly.
Honesty. I think maybe that's your love language.
Yeah.
Directness. That's a good one.
You got loads of them, I reckon.
Yeah.
Gifts.
Yeah, I love receiving gifts.
Your
it
love
when-
language is you receive gifts well.
Graciously.
Yeah. You look after the
Graciously.
cats.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. look after the
Caretaking.
cats.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I guess just love in general.
Oh,
Yeah, just loving people. Kind of love everyone, really.
oh, it's nice.
That's not true.
No, you just said that you had a bunch of cunts on it. That you can tell instantly if you don't like them.
Yeah. They're awful. Hate them.
What's your
Hate most people.
signature thing to cook for people?
Brazilian food.
Yeah.
I do a moqueca, which is like a coconut fish stew thing, which sounds not as nice as it actually is.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Quite-
Coconut fish.
yeah,
I
it's
think
very
that's-
aromatic.
Yeah.
You've got to like cilantro or coriander if you're dating me. Don't fuck with people that don't like coriander. It's a very important ingredient.
What's with those people? Who
I
are
don't
like,
know. They say it tastes like
Yeah,
toothpaste.
it tastes like
Something's wrong.
soap.
Go
They
to the
say it
doctor.
tastes like soap.
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of people, we're special. We all, there's people who taste
It's become this like thing to brag about. Like you
Shut
have a
up.
gene that
Yeah.
means you think coriander tastes like soap.
it. Don't like it.
Doesn't sound healthy to me.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. Taste some soap. What's
Yeah.
that taste like?
Oh,
Tell us.
what if that tastes like coriander to me?
Exactly.
And then you've got to start shaving soap into your
Yeah.
dishes.
No, that's why I said they've got like coriander.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. It's too much drama. Yeah, I don't like making breakfast. Find that stressful. I'm not a morning person,
Okay.
so whoever I'm dating needs to be okay being the breakfast person.
I think that's a fair trade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll do lunch and dinner happily. I'll make desserts, but in the morning, I'm a Weetabix or toast kind of girl.
So you're not asking for anything really in terms of
No, I would
cooking
love
labour.
them to do it.
Yeah, you just, if you want Weetabix,
No, I'm just saying that's all
you
I'm
want-
offering.
but you want them to do something
Yes,
more elaborate.
if they want anything more elaborate
Yeah.
than Weetabix or toast, that's on them.
What would you
I
want?
can't even make a coffee. Isn't that terrible? Because I don't drink coffee or tea.
Ben makes a great coffee.
Yeah.
Although we told him that the other day and he got angry.
Why?
He,
Why'd you get angry about?
he made us coffee yesterday.
It was really good.
And I took a sip. It was so delicious. And I said, Ben, that's amazing. And he went, I always make good coffee. I always do. And I was like, whoa. And Ed had a sip and went, this is really,
really
really
good
good,
I
Ben.
don't understand. How can coffee be good or bad? It all
taste
smells
of it.
horrific. How?
The taste of it is
it's
that
the same thing. It's
if the taste is nice, it's nice coffee.
There's so many.
This is a genuine question because I don't understand.
So
people that drink
genuinely-
coffee. Does it actually taste different?
Yeah. So when people say
I'm not
about
going to
wine,
let you back in Brazil.
Yeah.
so and I'm not saying these people are liars, but
Okay.
when people say that wine tastes, and they say all the different things they can taste in wine,
yes,
I
okay.
can't taste it.
Okay.
With coffee, I genuinely can. When people say
I don't understand that.
It's
It
choc- it's
smells the
chocolatey.
same.
it's chocolatey or it's citrusy or it's got these notes in it, I'm always like, I used to be like, as if,
Right.
and then
As if. Love
As
that.
if-
Like
as
you're in
if
the
it-
playground at school.
as if it does, and then I'd have a sip and be like, lately when I started drinking like filter coffees and stuff, and the lovely coffee that Benito makes, I was like, I actually can taste all those things. It's just that I was drinking espresso for years, and that I can't taste the difference between, although I'm sure there is.
Okay.
But like, yeah, like filter coffees and stuff, it's changed my life.
Okay. I'm glad.
Absolutely love it.
I'm glad. One day, if I ever jump on the coffee wagon, I'll call you and be like, oh my God, you're right. This one tastes like nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do they taste like?
Yeah,
Yeah, it can
sometimes
taste like
nutty,
nuts.
biscuity.
Yeah.
Like,
Biscuity?
like
Okay.
yeah, next time there's like a batch brew or a pour over or something, like
It's a word I
honestly,
don't understand, but I
I
will learn.
prefer
Completely different.
the nutty and chocolatey flavour.
to the
coffees.
citrusy ones.
Okay.
Yeah, to the
the
citrusy.
fruity.
Citrusy coffee.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can eat, there's some you can get those
There's
like
a whole world out there I don't understand,
Yeah.
guys.
I think
But this
I think
is
you'd
it.
like
It's all this, Brazilian food and loving Brazilian culture and
Well, I think it's when I was little, when I was growing up, my mum drank such strong black coffee, and the smell of it was really overwhelming.
right. Okay.
And I didn't have a English family member in the household, so I never grew up drinking tea. And so I either drink water or alcohol. I'm either hydrated or drunk. There's no in between.
Respect.
No, maybe an orange juice if I'm on holiday, but that's
Yeah.
it.
that's it. That's the only
That's
middle
it.
ground
Water,
between.
booze.
That's fair enough. Well, do we settle on a side dish?
We talked about halloumi briefly.
Talked about halloumi briefly, but I don't think we gave it enough attention.
So straight
No,
on
we
to drink.
I don't think it counts because I didn't.
No, so
Yeah, I'm saying no to a side dish.
That's okay.
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Wait, a really good cauliflower cheese, not the shitty ones, the good ones. Like
Yeah.
actually make a roux, do it properly with some like nice almonds grilled on top.
Anyone in particular who's ever made one of those where you're like, that's the best one and you'd like it for your dream meal?
Well, my local pub, but I'm not going to tell you where that is.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Don't want to
because
blow
it's
your spot
mine.
up.
It's my pub,
Yeah.
and I like going there. But yeah, local pub does a good one.
I'm sure they'll be delighted that you refuse to plug them on the biggest food podcast in the
It's
UK.
too close to my house.
No, I
to be
know.
fair, we've ruined a lot of people's like locals who come on the podcast who
Yeah.
have said the place
Yeah.
and then they can't get a table there the next
Yeah, but then
week,
when you go
so-
in the restaurant, they start acting weird with you, and you're like, "No, I liked it that you were rude to me. That was nice."
I love it when they act weird with us. I love it when we go in and they're all like, "Oh, they're here."
Oh, they're here.
Yeah,
That's
send them out
nice.
some more stuff.
Do you get like a special table?
No, I mean, now and again when we go in places, they'll send out extra stuff.
Do you know, I will say, whenever people are like, what's the best bit of having the career that you do? And I'm always like, yeah, none of it matters and blah, blah. Actually, when you get really good service in restaurants, that is like peak. I'm actually enjoying this experience of being mildly well known
Yeah.
because that makes the world a difference when they're like, no, come this way, have this nice table. And they send out extras. I actually went to Guy Ritchie's pub, Law of the Land,
Oh, yeah.
with some mates, and I'd texted his assistant because I don't have his number. It's too important. And said, oh, Rupert, by the way, we're going down to the pub, not expecting anything. And they were really generous and really kind. And we had like incredible food, really amazing wine. And I was like, yeah, this is kind of ballsy.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this moment in my life right now.
I have heard that pub's incredible.
It's good. It's tiny as well. It's not like, it's just it's a bit, I don't want to shit on it. I'm not shitting on it. It's lovely. It's a bit Mayfair. It's a little bit poncy, but that's okay. We need places like that too. But the food is incredible. The staff are amazing. I really, really enjoyed it.
We should go. Do you think we'll get a special
Yeah.
treatment?
Text me. I'll text
You
the
text-
assistant.
you'll
He'll
text
text
Rupert.
Guy.
Yeah,
and they'll
yeah.
text 7 other people.
Yeah.
And it'll be sorted.
Yeah. Perfect.
I can't wait. So your dream drink?
Dream drink.
Well, it's water or booze.
Do you know what? No, I've been a bit basic already. I will elevate it and say a cocktail instead of a lager. Although nothing beats an ice cold pint of beer. Heaven. But actually a really, really good gin and tonic. Simple, but well made. I'd stick some juniper berries in there. Why not? Maybe a sprig of rosemary. You can jazz it up as much as you want. I love a crisp gin and tonic.
But then, it's on a hot day,
Go
my
on.
brain goes, is it lager or is it gin and tonic? That's what I'm
saying.
the struggle, isn't it?
That is the struggle. I do love a lager. I love a cold.
That's the thing. When I hear you talk about the cold lager, I'm seeing
I'm giving
more
it more
enthusiasm, more love.
I feel like you can read me. You see me.
I think when you watch this back, you'll see that anyone could read this. Like you really love the lager.
I'm going to go with the lager.
Like you can tell that when you talk about it, you can taste it in your mind and you're thinking,
I can taste it. I
want
can
that.
smell it. Yeah, okay, it's a lager.
So I want you to pick the thing that's your favourite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know, being in like a pub garden with someone you fancy, having a lovely pint of lager is probably my happy place.
Who do you fancy currently? Who's number one?
Number one, my friends, my besties.
Okay, good.
Do you think that'll ruin your
someone's
friendship?
media trained. Thought we were going to get a scoop there.
There's someone I fancy. But I don't know, like, to be honest, I do think being in a pub garden with your mates, especially during the World Cup, is heaven. And I'm really, really excited for that.
You enjoying the World Cup so far?
Loving it.
We're recording
Cried
this during
my eyes out watching the goalkeeper from last night.
Yeah.
Cape Verde.
I didn't. So I haven't watched it yet.
Spain.
I don't watch football all year round.
But just watch the clips of him afterwards.
No, I'm watching the World Cup. I had a great time watching
He's got World Cup fever.
I got World Cup fever now.
You've got to know how unusual it is for Ed to have World Cup fever.
Yeah.
He does not care about football.
Yeah.
Anytime any football match is on, he thinks it's pathetic that everyone else cares about it.
Yeah.
He's genuinely got. Well, no,
Yeah, I think you're all losers.
but he's got World Cup fever now.
Yeah, I got World Cup fever.
To a degree
but
that
I think it's watching the countries who you don't expect to even be in the World Cup have decent games.
Yeah.
And the Cape Verde game with Spain was incredible.
Yeah. But even like the Scottish fans at the Red Sox game, that's amazing. Like Fenway Park's never had an atmosphere like that before. And it's just a load of Scottish guys being like, let's have fun.
Yeah.
Let's sing. I love all of that around it.
I probably won't even watch the England game.
Yeah, see, I root for Brazil the whole time. So.
Of course. 0-0 Morocco.
Okay.
Wow. The fact that he knows that.
Now he knows everything.
Yeah, the fact that he knows that is
Who's
astonishing.
now, eh?
The old 0-0.
Brazil are good though, aren't they? Good football team, historically.
Historically, we are
Pele's injured.
Yeah.
Gutted.
Pele's injured.
Yeah.
Did you say? Yeah, Pele's out.
Neymar's
back. No, it's always beautiful to watch Brazil play, and that's what I grew up watching was seeing the young players play and the community around it. So all the kind of Brazilians in London would gather together at someone's tiny flat. We'd have flags out the windows. We were never allowed to put the flags out until England had been kicked out of respect for the English.
Wow.
So we would hold back on
Listen to that.
Brazil.
Any reform voters listening to this, learn a thing or two.
Respect.
Yeah.
Put the flag away until it's
So
time.
you're saying they should only put the flags out after they've kicked all the immigrants out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, did not think that through. Did not see that through to the end.
Clip it.
Clip it, put some clickbait over it. I'm done, but the podcast, that video will do really well.
Would you ever have Farage on? Genuine question.
Have done.
Yeah.
We've shelved it for now. We're waiting until he's PM to put it out.
We try every week we have him in, and he always says something we can't put out. So
not worth it.
eventually we'll just have to leave it.
Okay, so Benito is saying
wait, let's
Brazil
pretend
Morocco was
I figured
1-1.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, come back at him. Go 1-1, you fucking moron.
Okay, ready? It's actually 1-1. So you're the idiot there.
I don't
Who's
think
got
I'm the
World
idiot.
Cup fever now?
Still 1 point, same goal difference.
Well done. Good.
Oh,
Yeah, nice.
you've come out of that well, Ed. With your dignity intact. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, brother.
I love that you were like, we will get comments. Like that is the saddest part of your life.
Yeah, we'll get. There's people who would deliberately make those mistakes to get engagement. We should be doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, I did that.
That's why I didn't know. I knew how to pronounce Vogo de Chouin.
Just one. It's getting even funkier every time you say
Jesus.
it. But I commented on a podcast clip of one of the guys from In-Betweeners talking about us Skins cast. And I was a little bit salty. I said, well, because he was trying to make out we were a bit rude at T4 on the beach. We weren't. I said, we thought you guys hated us because you didn't speak to us on the coach the whole ride there. And then put some fun emojis to make it like lighthearted.
Yeah.
Anyway, that got like 10 million likes or dislikes or whatever. And I thought,
it.
I've just handed that to them on a plate.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
Was there real rivalry between In-Betweeners and Skins?
We just thought they were a bit boring compared to us. They were
Well,
they were just quiet. They were older. We were.
They were about 40 when they did it.
They look great now. One of them lives in my neighbourhood. Love you. No, do you know what? We were just actual annoying kids. We were 16, 17 on a coach to T4 on the beach, and they were taking it seriously, like grown-ups and sitting in the back quietly.
Who are we talking in the skins crew this
them
particular
telling
day?
the story was that we were all rowdy and crazy.
Yeah.
Just having a laugh. And they were sat in the back quietly. So that's up for debate for who's boring or not.
Was Simon Bird going to T4 on the beach? Because that
Yeah, they all went.
that makes me laugh so much.
They were all there.
Really
Simon
funny.
Bird going to T4 on the beach. Is
Exactly.
So
So, you know, we weren't being rowdy. They were just being very quiet.
funny. Yeah.
But we did think that they hated us for a while. We were like, oh my God, the in-betweeners hate us.
Yeah, but you were the cool lot, right?
Well, we weren't actually. We were the ones that would get like bottled on the street and stuff. People were quite aggressive with us. We didn't go out the whole time we were on skins because it was kind of that laddie era still. And everyone assumed that we were going to be really crazy. And we weren't. We were kind of, we'd hang out together and joke and we were quite chilled. We weren't nightclubby people. But yeah, T4 on the beach was the one day of the year where we were like, let's have it. We're going to Western Supermare. This is going to be epic. They didn't let us out much. So that's why we'd get really excited.
And Joe Thomas was at the back of the bus reading a book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, genuinely.
With loads of sun cream on, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With his eyes closed when he's talking.
Well, this is an opportunity to stick it to them. So then they can comment on this clip.
Yes, and then we can go back and forth only through
Yeah.
podcast comment chats
Perfect.
for the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
20 years whilst reliving the shows that we did when we were youngsters.
Yeah.
No, I do love them. And I do think that their show was really, really great.
The In-Betweeners?
Yeah, I loved The In-Betweeners.
You heard
I
it here
actually
first.
And Theo was in the movie, Theo James, my work husband from The Gentleman. And like, yeah, I rate them. But we weren't being rowdy. We were just being fun.
We're cutting all that stuff
The
out.
more
about
you say it,
liking
the more I feel like you're being rowdy on the bus.
How rowdy can you be on a coach to T4 on the beach? It was 6 o'clock in the morning from Victoria.
How old were you guys?
I was not quite the legal drinking age.
Yeah,
So
you guys
Perfect.
would have been cocoa bananas
Yeah.
on
I
that,
think
on
I
that
was
bus.
That's the perfect
17.
age for drinking.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Not
it
quite the
was
legal age
that
for
era where you
drinking.
like drink vodka Red Bulls because you think
Yeah.
that that's a great way to party. Oh my gosh, horrific.
Yeah,
Could not force
no
a
way
vodka
I'm
Red
getting
Bull
on
down
that
me now.
coach. If I'm Bird, I'm not setting foot on that coach.
Yeah.
It was us and Brian Bello from Big Brother.
Which one's Brian Bello?
Brian
Did he win
He won one of the
series two?
later,
Brian
no,
Bello.
much later series.
from Essex. Brian, he was lovely.
Yeah. Do you have a
Sorry.
specific type of lager that you want?
A blonde,
Yes.
always. High percentage.
Mhm.
If we're going to do it, let's
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
We're going to get the calories. We might as well enjoy
Yeah.
this. Just cold. It's very important.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think we have an issue with that in this country, serving warm pints.
Yeah.
I would like to change that. If I was ever to go into politics, that would be one of the things I'd run on.
And that's one of the main
Ensuring-
reasons you should not go into politics.
That's
Yeah.
why
I'm
you
aware.
should.
I'm fully aware.
That's why you should
Also,
work
way
with
too
Arnie.
many skeletons in the closet. I have been on camera doing things,
Yeah.
you know, for skins that would never get past.
But that's not a skeleton in the closet, though.
No, but still, no one wants to relive all that, do they?
And the hijinks on the bus on the way to T4 on the
Yeah,
beach. That's
and that's
probably
where it really kicked
yeah,
off.
yeah. So I think all pubs should, certainly in the summer, be forced to keep the pint glasses in the freezer or in the fridge.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Forced, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
law. That's what laws are, mate.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Do you want to be my running mate?
Yeah.
We can do this.
Absolutely.
You're a bit posh, so that'll work well.
Yeah,
for
I
us.
think it will. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Your dream dessert,
Sticky toffee pudding.
STP.
the STP.
Although, made one myself recently. There is a fuck ton of sugar in that.
No,
Actually quite terrifying. Yeah.
No way.
It's so...
come on.
Yeah, but I didn't
Sticky
think
toffee pudding.
that much.
We talk about the same dessert. Here.
But now I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to cut down on those because it's
What?
a monster.
It is always
I
more
had
than
to
you think, isn't it? No
go
matter
to Sainsbury's twice to get different sugars.
in a wheelbarrow.
Why are there 3 different sugars in this?
How many sticky toffee puddings are you having that you have to think, I need to cut down on these?
Every time I have a roast, I
Yeah.
would order a sticky toffee pudding.
Sure.
So now I'm going to have to rethink that. I do love a banoffee pie as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got news for you.
What?
Loads of sugar in that.
Don't. Well,
Damn it.
there's bananas in it, so
Yeah,
good try.
Bananas.
But
But I
the
don't actually eat the bananas. I only eat the caramel, the biscuit, and the cream.
So you
round
just
the
have off,
bananas.
you have an
So
offie pie.
I have an offie pie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think the sticky toffee pudding is superior. But it's got to be done well.
Mhm.
You don't want one of those microwaved ones that taste kind of crispy on the outside.
Sure.
You want it moist
Mm-hmm.
and with a bit of ice cream, not creme fraiche. I think that's weird.
Have you seen the guy on Instagram who reviews sticky toffee puddings?
No, did not know about this.
I think he's called like STP reviews or something. But he takes it so
Thought you said
serious.
STD review.
He's called STD. That's what he used to be. And then he's changed his life. STP reviews, I think he's called something like that. Ben, you better check that because otherwise people are going to flame us in the comments.
Yeah, yeah.
Think about the comments.
Absolutely
Think of the comments.
scorched in the comments.
STP.review.
Okay.
he just takes it so seriously, and
I'm
I
well
respect him
excited
so
for
much.
this.
It's not like, oh, here we
Yeah.
are. He's just like, okay, and this sticky toffee
It's a
pudding,
genuine
and gives
review.
it a good rating.
But that's good.
Yeah.
I think we should do that.
Yeah.
Good.
Nice.
You'd really like him.
Yeah, I immediately want to watch that.
Yeah.
I think that
He's
sounds fun.
respecting the
Yeah, respecting the
STPs.
craft.
Oh, don't put any dry fruit in it.
No raisins.
I don't like no raisins. No, thank
Yeah,
you.
it's fine.
That's another thing. We're going somewhere else there with that. We're going into like Christmas pudding territory, which I hate.
We're in spotted dick territory with
Yes,
that.
exactly.
If you don't mind me saying.
A friend's son, what was he, 6 or 7? Loves
Thought
sticky
you were
toffee
thinking,
pudding.
how big is he?
He's about this big.
Yeah. He's
That's what a 6-year-old looks like, right?
Yeah. Wide. This is how wide he is.
Yeah.
His head. He loves sticky toffee puddings, but he learned recently for the first time that he doesn't like it when there's fruit. He didn't know there could even be fruit in them.
Yeah.
He got given one.
Yeah. It's
was
not
not
fair
happy
to just
about
throw
it.
that on someone. Like when they think they know a food and they know what they're about to expect, and then you throw something else in there. I'm not a huge fan of that. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jamie Oliver, with your, what was it, the chorizo gate?
Oh man,
Okay.
He's had so many
Oliver's
gates, that guy.
catching
Quite a
so
few
many
gates.
strays in this pod.
Yeah.
Oh, I quite like
Not this
We love
episode,
him.
but like so many episodes, Oliver catches a stray.
But isn't that just a sign that he has touched so many people
Yes.
and he's taught us so much?
We love Jamie Oliver.
Yeah, it's part of British food culture. I think that's a huge
Yeah.
achievement.
Yeah.
What did he do with the treats? I don't know
There
about
was
this.
something about he was doing a Spanish dish and he added chorizo to it, and the Spaniards got very upset about that.
Well, then he probably deserves that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
it wasn't a chorizo, he used something else.
There was
He did
and
something
there was the
controversial.
whole jerk rice situation.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, there's a pattern forming here.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, if you want the sticky toffee pudding to be a sticky toffee pudding, let it be a sticky toffee pudding.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You do like the classics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm realizing that. This is
Yeah.
really fun because I'm actually kind of realizing in real time. But look, don't get me wrong. I love a 7-course, weird ass tasting menu with smoke, and I will try anything. I'm very good about that. I'll eat anything. I love trying local dishes wherever I go in the world. But I guess it's more about home comforts because I travel so much for work and I'm away so much. I love cooking. That's what grounds me. I can't meditate. I can't do yoga or any of those things. Cooking is my way of resetting. Like a bottle of wine, cooking a really complicated meal and a podcast is heaven to me. This podcast, obviously.
Off menu.
So I guess it's those comfort foods that I actually genuinely really do find comforting. And I do love the British culture of eating in the pub. I think there's something really special about that. And that's kind of a family space. Or, you know, if you haven't seen a mate for a long time, you're like, let's go to the pub and have a lunch. There's something so warm about that. So yeah, I like the classics. Give me bangers and mash and a chicken tikka masala and those things.
I obviously like we've eaten at loads of tasting menu places as well, and they're
Guilty.
amazing experiences.
Yeah.
And it's like the
And it can be
cooking's
mind-blowing.
incredible, like
Yeah.
mind blowing. But I never remember it. Like
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I'll never be like, I loved that thing we had.
That specific.
It's always
taste,
like
yeah.
the
do.
big dishes where you're like sharing, and
Yeah.
that's the stuff that sticks in the mind. I think.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Anything nice.
Yeah.
Do you plate up at the stove or on the table?
Good question. I mean, at the stove, if it's depends how many people are over.
See, that's such a rule in my house. The food all comes in on the table, family style. Everyone serves themselves. Like, I love that.
But then, how many people are around your table though?
If it's like family time, it's 4 of us.
Yeah.
But then I cook quite often for mates, so there'll be like 8, 9, 10 people at a time.
See, but I don't really do that. So it's weird to be like,
Yeah, no, but I love it. Even if it's just me and like one of my kids, I will
yeah.
put the food on the table and serve it at the table. But I think maybe
That's a
that's
nice
cultural. I
tradition.
think it's a Brazilian
Yeah.
thing.
No, but as soon as you said it, I'm like, yeah, that's better. That's definitely better. Like I'm plating up at the stove because it's normally just 2 of us, or like maybe there's a mate round or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
definitely just the thought of being at a table with all the different dishes there and everyone serving themselves and getting
'Cause I
stuck
like
in is
seeing-
clearly
and
the best.
What's beautiful about food is it's so many senses, right? It's visual, it's the smell, it's the taste of it, obviously. But I actually visually love looking at food. I think it's really interesting when you put everything together and can admire the textures, and especially with Brazilian cooking, which is why I love it so much. It's colourful, it's bright, it's interesting. There's a dish I make called bobo de camarão, which is in a pumpkin. So I'll carve out a pumpkin and serve it in the pumpkin.
Oh, nice.
Which sounds mad, right? And like a huge waste of time. But I love seeing it on the table at the end and going, that's so cool that there's a pumpkin on the table.
Do you cook the pumpkin as well?
No, pumpkin's not even one of the ingredients.
So that's just there as
It's
the bowl.
just a vessel for the thing.
So what are you doing with the pumpkin after?
What do you do with a pumpkin? Well, I could empty it and put a candle in it.
Yeah.
In March.
Just wait till Halloween.
Wait
yeah.
till Halloween.
Yeah.
They go all mouldy now, though, don't they?
Yeah.
It's too warm in October now. Climate change. Should we talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about that. It's
Always fun.
ruining Halloween.
Ruining my pumpkins at Halloween.
I went to New York once, like a couple of weeks after Halloween, and everyone still had their pumpkins on their doorstep and they were rank.
Yeah.
I was walking around
melting
New
and
York
slushy.
just like, what are we doing here, people? It
Well, that's spookier though, isn't it?
was really spooky.
Really, you should put them out end of September and let them get really stinky by Halloween. I think that's perfect.
Yeah. Everything's disgusting. I'm going to read your menu back to you now.
Okay, great, because I've forgotten it all.
And see how I've got it all written down here. You would like a big bottle of sparkling water. You would like, I can't pronounce the bread.
Yes.
Go on, you can.
12 powdered.
12, you got 12, well done.
Power.
Powder quiche. Powder quiche.
Yeah, that's good.
Starter, bad but not bad prawn cocktail.
Yeah.
Main course, radicchio.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Side dish, cauliflower cheese with almonds on top. Drink, a cold, high percentage blonde lager. Dessert, sticky toffee pudding with ice cream.
And no fruit.
No fruit
And no
in
fruit.
it.
Yeah. Can we
No
have that?
fruit in it, no raisins,
Yeah.
and no creme fraiche ice cream.
What do you think? How did I do?
Absolutely delicious.
Delicious.
I'm glad you didn't pick the Sunday roast
Yeah.
because I think then that would have been like the top hits of all of
Yeah.
the menus we've had. But
Yeah.
you've got to pick your truth.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we got to speak about the skewers.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad too.
Yeah, I think all of that's very nice.
Really delicious.
Where do I go for the bit where they cook it all and I get to eat it? That happens.
That's a different podcast. Yeah, we don't host that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm hungry now. So.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No,
That
that's
is.
good. It's lunchtime.
Well, yeah,
Further
we like to
down.
send people into the world feeling hungry. Yeah.
You know, watch football tonight.
I'm going to. Well, no, I'm busy tonight. I'm going to watch the England game tomorrow.
What are you doing? Tell the listeners what you're up to.
What am I doing tonight? I'm going to the pub.
Go to the
Just
pub.
gonna go,
Yeah.
but non-football pub.
Some blonde lagers.
It's blonde lagers.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. If people want to hang out with me, I'm going to go and see a gig.
Oh, you can say.
Grace Ives
Nice.
at the Village Underground.
I'm going as well now.
Ed's coming along. It's a friend of ours. Hurt his foot and can't walk. So Ed's took the ticket.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Not good for him.
No.
Thank you very much, Kaya.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kaya.
Cheers.
Thank you so much to Kaya for coming on the pod, James.
What a wonderful, comforting meal.
Yeah, nice.
I want to eat all those meats.
I'm feeling in a Brazilian mood now.
Oh, are you?
I want to go and eat Brazilian food.
Yeah, that's nice. While watching them in the World Cup, maybe?
Yes. And with not a pubic hair in sight.
Okay. So, thank you, Kaya, for not saying cod skins as well.
Yes, thank you, Kaya.
Really happy about that.
Yeah.
Means we didn't have to kick you out.
And we can tell you that The Gentleman Series 2 starts September 3rd on Netflix.
Go and see a Gamble on tour at gamble.co.uk. Starts in January. Fresh hell.
Thank you, James. Go and see James.
No. My tour's over.
Yeah, but go and see him.
Don't go and see me. Give me some time on my own now.
Pay the guy a visit.
I'm done. The tour's done. You can't see me anymore.
Oh, and a lot of shout outs to Benito's coffee making skills. But of course, the quality of the coffee is very important. And Benito wants us to let you know that he buys the coffee from Elsewhere Coffee in Deptford.
Yeah, he loves it. And it was very lovely and chocolatey the other day.
Yeah.
We exclaimed upon it. So go and buy your coffee from there, I guess, even though we're not sponsored by it. He genuinely buys it from there. So this isn't like a promo thing.
It's a clever name for a
Benito
coffee
wants
shop
to
as well.
recommend something.
It's a clever name for a coffee shop.
Elsewhere.
It's when people storm out of other coffee shops. They go, I'm going to go elsewhere.
Oh, love it.
That's good, isn't it?
That is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go elsewhere. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going there.
At gamble.co.uk.